friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley if you're new here, and in this video I'm going to do a December homeschool update. If you are new here, I have a first grader and a preschooler, and then I have a 2-year-old, and I am pregnant right now and due in May. I've been sharing our homeschooling journey on here basically from the beginning, which has been really fun and exciting. I'm hoping one day to be a bit more consistent with it, but life has been really busy, so I just do this as I can. In this video, I am excited to share with you all that we were up to in December, and which is an interesting change, I think, from last year, because I feel like I maybe took off all of December last year, or like very close to all of it. But this year, because I was in my first trimester in the beginning of the year, we kind of fell behind a little bit, and then also my son needed a lot of review in the beginning to get him back up to where he was kind of like at the end of last year. And so I feel like I have some ground I want to cover before this baby comes, and so we trudged along. We really only took off the week of Christmas. That's actually not entirely true. We also took off the week after Christmas, sort of. We didn't do math the week of Christmas or the week after Christmas, and then I had him just practicing reading when it fit in with our schedule, so not every single day. All of that rambling to say I'm excited to give you an update on our December. So I guess I'll kind of pick up where I left off. I'll start with my first grader and I'll continue sharing about his journey. I guess we will start with language arts because I kind of feel like I was already updating you on that already. And so if you are new here, I'll give you like a really quick review of kind of what this year has been for us. We started out with The Good and the Beautiful, which is what we used last year, and then it ended up not being a great fit in the beginning of the year because my son needed, like I said before, some review. So I had actually bought All About Reading Level 1 last year and we didn't use it much, so we like sped through that, got through like I think it was nearly the entire thing, and then I switched us sort of back to The Good and the Beautiful. I didn't fully intend to do that, and that's kind of like my big update for December, is that I believe we did 90%, at least 90%, maybe 95% The Good and the Beautiful, and then a little bit of All About Reading, which was a little bit unexpected for me because I was expecting to do both kind of like together, and what I realized was that after I got my son back up to speed with where he could read more fluently and he wasn't like struggling to remember different like sound combinations and everything, I realized he doesn't need I don't know exactly how to word it, like the slowness, the intentionality of All About Reading for everything, if that makes sense. But I feel like there's certain concepts, certain reading phonics rules that are more difficult than others. Like I'll give you an example in a second, that I'm really, really happy to have All About Reading for. We had actually picked up with All About Reading Level 2 at the very end of All About Reading Level 1 and started going through that until we made it to, I want to say maybe lesson 10, and then maybe started adding back in The Good and the Beautiful. And then, like I said, I planned to do both and like flip-flop back and forth a little bit. But then once I realized we had made it through the more challenging phonics rules, which this is the example I was going to give you, is that in the beginning of All About Reading Level 2, they teach them how to read 2-syllable words. So obviously they have 2 vowels in them, and they break that down really, really well, and it like really taught him how to read it, where I went through and saw how The Good and the Beautiful was going to teach that, and I realized that I'm like, I don't know that he would really understand this, like, because even I was like, this is a bit confusing the way that they're explaining this. How would you know the difference? So I'm really enjoying doing both, basically. Long story short. But since we made it through that, I realized that I don't know if it's the whole rest of All About Reading or just like a good chunk of the rest of All About Reading Level 2, I'm pretty sure, is just like a lot of very easy concepts like OU and OW says ow. And so I don't think my son needs to be going through it at such a slow pace for those types of phonics rules. He did need that in the beginning of the year. That's why I did level 1. He really needed to slow down and really like solidify those in his mind. And so I just think that doing the both together is like the perfect fit for him. So that's what we're doing. We're kind of going, I'm kind of trying to like sort of catch us up in The Good and the Beautiful. But I'm also kind of watching what is going on in the All About Reading book, and I'm like stopping and pulling a part of a lesson from that if I feel like they're explaining it deeper or in a different way, and I feel like it will be beneficial for him to learn it that way. I also just realized that it's just really helpful to have many different review items for him, because reading is a lot of memorization, and so to have him practice here and then practice in this way, it can't hurt. And so I'm also trying to remember to do the flashcards with Shane for All About Reading, and then he's still reading the stories out of it too, not every single day or anything, but I'm trying to get him to remember to like read to my husband at night before bed. We definitely don't do that as often as I would like, but I would like to try to get that into a routine where he's doing that more, and I think he could practice with those stories, because the All About Reading stories are definitely more challenging because they're longer and they are not as repetitive as The Good and the Beautiful, so he can't remember all of them. So that is my long-winded update on language arts for Shane. I'm really happy with it. I'm super excited that we've gotten to this point. I kind of always knew that I wouldn't fully give up The Good and the Beautiful. There's just something about it that I really like. I really like the different like ways that they have them practice words. Like he just had a section in his independent work, so they do like a lesson you do with them, and then they're supposed to do their like independent work afterward, which he does usually need a lot of help with, but I'll sometimes try to get him to push by himself before I help him. And so they have a part where it's like they have the beginning sounds or letters, and then 3 in a row, and then they have 3 in a row like ending words, and they have to match the ones that make words. And so I just feel like that is really I don't know, it's just a really helpful way for him to like be thinking about these like sounds as words, and not like he has to really use his like comprehension for that. And so they just have a lot of stuff like that in there. Plus I enjoy the geography lessons and the art lessons. I know some people feel it's too light, and so what's the point of having them in there, but I enjoy them, and I like having it like be different every day, and I think my son likes it too. So that is the update. I will quickly move us over to math, and math is also going really well. I'm really excited that we switched to Math with Confidence this year. I don't have a huge update for you on math. I feel like I guess I will say I don't remember if I mentioned this in other videos that I've done, but I'm really glad that we did switch, because I feel like he is, I don't know if he's behind on like addition facts, subtraction facts, but I don't feel like he doesn't remember any of them from kindergarten. And I don't know if he's supposed to, like I said, but I kind of feel like if we had done Math with Confidence, he would be in a different place with that type of thing. I also really enjoy how they go really deep in Math with Confidence, which that's what I always hear on YouTube with people saying why they like it. It gives them such a good number sense, and I feel like how I said with language arts, I kind of always knew that I would sort of go back to The Good and the Beautiful, or at least incorporate it in our lessons somehow. With their math, I guess you never say never, because you never know what could happen. But I feel like I almost want to say I definitely wouldn't, but again, I'm not going to say that. But as of right now, I don't see myself going back to, like, fully switching back or something to The Good and the Beautiful math, because I just feel like it's just such a different way of learning, and it's really not helpful, like, when you're learning new subjects, to be bouncing around as much as they do, at least in first grade. Maybe, like I said, I could get to a different grade level, and I could change my mind because maybe I'll feel like it's not as much jumping around and everything. But I do want to have him, there really just isn't enough time in the day, but like I feel like the Good and the Beautiful math is a really good review. But I don't know that he actually fully needs more review, so we haven't really been using it. I had said in an update that I was going to try to have him like work on it a little bit, but there's just not really enough time in the day. He doesn't really need to be doing 2 curriculums basically for like math and language arts, but I am going to hold on to it, and I'm going to, like, if there is time, have him practice a bit more with it, because I feel like I said, it is a really good curriculum to have as like a secondary curriculum if you wanted something to have them practice. And the fact that it's free, like, that's what makes me want to just keep using it. Like, I already printed it out and it's there, and so like I kind of just want to give it to him and have him practice a bit here and there, especially throughout the summer. I think it would keep him really fresh and everything. So that's our math update. For, let's see, history, geography, I guess I'll give you a quick update on that, which is basically I don't have an update for December. I think I told you guys I had bought the 180 days of social studies for first grade because we had paused or basically shelved entirely the 50 states study, and I just didn't have enough capacity with being pregnant, and we have homeschool classes that we go to. It's sort of like a co-op once a week, and he does art and piano there, and I just didn't have the time to like sit down and really devote to that, and so I saved it. I'm definitely going to use it. It's the Not Grass 50 States study. We did 2 states, I believe. And so I bought the 180 days, and we were starting to do it a little bit, but it honestly in the beginning, like I feel like he's learning absolutely nothing. Like it was, I can't even like remember. It was just like such basic information that I'm like, if this is what social studies is in first grade, I don't think he needs this. Like, it makes me feel like it's pointless to even sit down and do it. I may go and flip through it, find some more like information that I feel like would be beneficial for him to read, or I actually had sort of considered, I'm still really only just barely considering this. I don't know that I'll do it. But for next year, I wanted to do Sunlight's, it's like kindergarten to 2nd grade, I believe, history, Bible, literature with my 2 boys who, like I said, my younger one is in preschool and then my older one is in first grade right now. I feel like it could be really good for my first grader to start on that early because Sunlight has 36 weeks, which is very long for for us. I feel like I got used to the Good and the Beautiful 30 weeks in kindergarten because that's kind of all we did. And so I like 6 more weeks of school is like, it's so much more weeks. It feels like, so I like almost want to buy it now and start on it. I just don't know that my younger son is ready for that yet. Yeah, we have the unit right before the preschool. I think they have 2 preschool units. And we haven't fully read through all those books, so maybe I'll just do that and then kind of call that good enough. We also have, actually this is science, so maybe I'll just scoot us over into our science update. And so for science, it's kind of like a similar story. That's why I was gonna like throw that in here. I kind of forgot that it's a different subject, but we also shelved temporarily our science curriculum. We were doing Sunlight Science kindergarten, but I believe it's like for an age range of like kindergarten to 2nd grade. And we were really enjoying it. The reading was really easy to keep up with. It was the science experiments that we weren't keeping up with. And I really want to go back and like give them like what it's worth. And so like, cause you can just watch the videos online and they really enjoyed the videos, but I would really like to have them do the experiments too. And we just really didn't, again, have the time to do the experiments every single week. And so I thought if we just stop now, I want to say almost halfway through, and we go back and we do the ones that we didn't do. And then if we're not halfway through, I'll pick back up and get us to halfway through. And then I thought about finishing up that unit or that curriculum next year because, like I said, I think it's kindergarten to 2nd grade. I could be wrong on that. But then I'll have a kindergartner and a 2nd grader next year. And so I figured we could do that. If we move a lot faster, we could just pick up the next year's one if we want to continue with Sunlight halfway through next year, and then we'll just be like technically behind a half a year. Or we could finish it up and we could do something else. Like what I was going to say before is that I also decided that I can kind of start throwing in science lessons from, I had bought The Good and the Beautiful Little Hearts in Hands a couple years ago now, and we only made it through not even half of that either, because I just felt like it was too simple. But I realized this year that I really need simple, and so at least it makes me feel like we're covering things. Although I don't know how you guys feel about like history, geography, science for like the little years. I almost want to make like a whole nother update or a whole nother video on this topic, because I almost feel like, not that it's 100% pointless, but it just feels like they're gonna go into all of this so much more in depth, and once they're older they'll be able to understand it so much more. So it feels like almost wasted time to like teach them things now that they're probably not going to remember. So anyway, I think like keeping it simple is really helpful right now. So I'm not going to keep it on like a very strict schedule or anything, but we're going to, I think, try to finish through that curriculum, because why not have it? And it would make me feel good that we're doing something for science. And if we make it through that whole thing, or if we decide like, again, that I don't feel like finishing it or something, and we go back to Sunlight, we could also do that. Like I just don't feel like, which is not really in my personality. I was going to say, I feel like I'm not really feeling like I need to stick to a certain curriculum and finish that curriculum. Or I guess like the longer you homeschool, I feel like I've heard other people say this online, the more you realize that like you get to control the curriculum, because the curriculum is there to like help you, right? And so that's why I feel so much more confident like picking and choosing from different curriculums and making it work, like with All About Reading and The Good and the Beautiful, and now with science and that sort of thing. Like it doesn't feel like, in the beginning I felt like, and my personality is very much like get the book, finish the book, you have to do all of it kind of a thing. But I feel like that's not, it doesn't really make sense with homeschooling or learning in general, because there's just so much stuff in each topic that, you know, maybe not language arts or math, but like science, history, geography, you're never going to learn everything. And they also have just so much time to learn it that, yeah, I'm not really concerned with finishing curriculum. I'm just kind of trying to piece things together to make things work for us so that they're learning, but it's not too stressful for me. So that's my first graders update, I suppose. And then they're like joined subjects with, like I said, history and science. And now I guess I'll give you my Riley's update, my preschooler. His should be short and sweet. He's done really well in December. I feel like I probably did less with him in December because I didn't feel behind with him. Although I quickly realized that like last year I was doing school with him, and I had it like a very loose, like, he was 3, so I was like, I don't really care if he learns anything right now. He's only 3. Like, I'll just, you know, do this with him to get into a routine for the both of us. He wants to do it. We're both enjoying it, but I'm not going to put any pressure on us, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so I kind of like carried that into this year. And then I realized that he's 4.5 now. His birthday is in July. So he does have like a semi-late birthday. And I realized that I'm like, I was much more like strict, or like wanted to make sure that my older son learned things in preschool than I feel like I am with my younger son. I think I just realized that there's really no reason to like push them if they're not ready. The way that Riley is right now is that like he could get a lot of the letter sounds correct when I ask him what they say, and then the next day like he'll get the same ones wrong. So he's learning for sure. He's starting to get it, but nothing is like fully solidified yet in his brain. So I started questioning myself, where I'm like, should I be a bit more like strict on it, in the sense of like, should our goal be that he knows all of the letter sounds by the end of the school year? And I'm not really sure if I'm gonna like fully try that, or because like I said, he's only gonna turn 5 in July, And so I feel like that's still really, really young. And so if he needs more time, if he needs like the first half of kindergarten to continue going over letter sounds before he moves on to like blending and really starting to read, I think that's fine too, because I'm assuming I'll probably with him do a blend of like maybe The Good and the Beautiful and All About Reading with him as well, since he's working so well with his brother. But that's an update on him. I think we have about 10 weeks left or so of his gather round curriculum. He, like I said last time, he really doesn't love learning about like the animals and that sort of thing. He just kind of likes doing worksheets, and so I'm kind of eager to get back into The Good and the Beautiful, because I feel like the preschool curriculum with him, because I feel like he really, I don't know, I feel like that curriculum might fit him a bit better. And I'm excited to get through that one, because then I can move him over to the like preparing for kindergarten ones. I forget what they're called, the like kindergarten primer or whatever it's called. So yeah, I'm really excited about him and all he's learning. I feel like I haven't sat down and updated you guys in a long time. I feel like I have so much to tell you. We started back up our homeschool classes, or our co-op, or however you want to call it, today, after we took all of December off, and then like half of November there was like a little break that they give you, which was really nice. But it's also been really cold where we live, so we haven't also been seeing our like other homeschool friends as often as we usually do, and so it's been nice to be home and like be able to like focus on the house and on just being like getting things done around the house that I need to get it done. But I think like everyone's like going today reminded me too that like it is really nice to get out and see our friends. And so I'm going to try, I think, to be a little better about getting us out of the house if I can, and seeing more friends. And actually at the end here, I'm going to just, I haven't talked about this in a little bit, but I feel like in a couple videos maybe, but I'll do like a little read aloud update too, which is that I really want to get back into doing read alouds. I was really good with them for preschool and even kindergarten, I think, for my older son. This year we really haven't done much, and it makes me a little bit sad, but I want to get back into it. So maybe if we only took like a little break from it, it wouldn't be so bad. But let me know what you guys are reading. I was thinking like I'd really like to buy, or to get from the library probably actually, like some more chapter books for them to read with me, maybe after my daughter goes down for her nap, because it's hard with her. That's really why we haven't done a lot of read alouds, or at night or something. So let me know of any recommendations that you guys have. We read The Wild Robot, we read Ralph S. Mouse, we read, what is the Disney one? Something, Heartwood Hotel. I really like that. That was such a sweet book. I think there's actually a few more in the series, so maybe I should pick up that from the library so that we could just get back into it, because I really miss sitting and reading to them. I used to do it while they were at the table, and that's just not feasible with my daughter, because we do our Bible reading over breakfast and she doesn't stop talking the entire time. Like basically I have to remind her over and over and over to be quiet. So that just wouldn't work if we were doing a read aloud. But like I said, I think I'm ready to like start doing it while she's napping or something. So I'd love your recommendations. At the end of the video here, I guess I'll just put in a little pregnancy update, because I think I've done that in all of my videos since announcing that I'm pregnant. And it's fun for me for like some memory keeping. So I am 22 weeks pregnant today, which is crazy. I can't believe I'm over halfway. I don't think I gave you guys an update on the gender. I might have said it in the last video, but if you missed that last video, or if I didn't, because I can't remember, we are having a boy, which is really exciting. I really think I told you guys already, but thank you guys to those of you who have congratulated us. We're really excited. And so because I'm just over halfway, we had our anatomy scan last week, I believe it was, and everything went really well. That was really special. I love going to the ultrasounds with my husband, because it just feels like, I don't know, like I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, but if you have, I'd say, more than 2 kids, this time especially, I'd say, pregnancy is so much easier to like with this pregnancy, it's been in like the back of my mind sort of for so long that like, especially with my first, everything was like, I was consumed with pregnancy, with thinking about having a baby and taking care of a baby and all the things. And it's like all I thought about. I didn't sleep well basically the entire pregnancy, because I was just thinking about giving birth and just the whole thing. And then my second was a little less, but still very much similar to that. And even my third, I feel like I even had insomnia with her. But I definitely feel like it was like less like being consumed by it, but even more so now, like I feel like I just don't not think about it a lot. Like I do think about having the baby, but I don't think about practically, I guess that's what it is. Like how everything will go, because I know from doing this 3 times before that, one, I know how some things go, and then I mostly just have learned that you just can't fully prepare yourself for what's going to happen, because everything is different. Every baby is different. Every experience, every labor and delivery, every newborn experience, everything is going to be so different. So I think the like wisdom from that is just kind of to just not dwell too much on it, because it doesn't do you any good. And so that's how I felt most of this pregnancy so far. And so going to the ultrasound, it makes it feel like everything else in life has stopped and you're just focusing on the baby. And it's really special because so much else is happening in our life too, that like, even if I wanted to dwell more on like the practical aspects of what's our family going to be like with 4 kids and how's it going to be taking care of all of them and all of that, like I don't even have that much time to do that, because I just am spending so much time like homeschooling the kids, and there's just obviously a lot of other things going on in our life. So the ultrasound was really special. The ultrasound tech was really encouraging and you know, told us that everything looks really good. The baby looks really healthy. There was some strange situation with, I guess, the placenta. They didn't get a great picture of one area of it, and so because of that, they want me to come back, but the doctor has been really reassuring that basically it's kind of like a formality, that like from what they can see, they're pretty sure everything is totally fine, but they need better pictures, I guess, for record keeping. That's kind of the gist of what I've got. So I haven't stressed about it, thankfully, but I go back in, I think it's like a couple weeks from now. So yeah, I have to go back for that, but I'm assuming everything will be fine. So I'm trying not to really think about it or stress about it, because they seemed really reassuring. So yeah, that's my little pregnancy update. I feel like I'm sleeping really well this pregnancy still. I had one night where I was up for 2 hours in the middle of the night, and it just reminded me so much of how I was with my other pregnancies, where I was just up so much. And yeah, this one has just been really different. I don't know if it's the lack of stress, like I said, the less stress that I've spent dwelling on it, or if it's honestly the supplements I'm taking. I'm taking obviously my like regular prenatal, the DHA, and then I also take a calcium, magnesium, and zinc vitamin, which I usually take that during breastfeeding, and I was taking it with breastfeeding because once you get your cycle back, it can like mess with your hormones, and then your milk supply kind of drops and stuff, so that helps with that. And I would normally have stopped taking it because I am not nursing anymore, but I realized the magnesium in it, I think, really helps me sleep. And then I also, apparently like a new thing during pregnancy is to take choline, which none of my other pregnancies I ever heard anything about this. So I bought some choline and I've been taking that. I haven't heard anyone talk about if it affects your sleep, but the two of those together, even if I like don't take my prenatal that day, I decide like for whatever reason I'm not going to take it that day, because sometimes I take them at night. They make me really thirsty overnight if I haven't drank enough water that day. So some days I won't take the prenatal, but I'll always take those ones because I'm curious if that's what's making me sleep so well. Maybe I should run an experiment and like not take them for a week and see if I like don't sleep or something. But I don't know. I don't even want to mess with it because it's been so nice. I feel like I could sit here and talk to you guys forever, but I feel like this video is probably super long. Maybe I'll be able to film like a day in the life this week or something and give you guys an update, because on the rest of our life, because like I said, I feel like I could keep going, but it's my oldest son's birthday this coming weekend and we're going away for that. So I'll like I said, try to do a little day in the life. I can share more about all that because it's going to be really fun. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for watching all of this if you made it to the end. I also, one last thing, I guess, before I go, I've considered doing a Q&A video on here, because it's kind of hard to know who's watching these videos. I don't know if you're watching for my kindergartner or you're watching for my preschooler, and it would be really helpful to know kind of like what you guys like seeing from me. So let me know, one, if you watch, if you care to leave a comment, if you're watching for my kindergartner, for my preschooler, for both, or if you would care to do a Q&A, and if you have any questions for me, because that would be fun, because I recently had hit 1,000 subscribers on here, which is just the coolest thing ever. So thank you again for being here, for watching this video, for supporting my channel. It's been really fun to have this outlet to share with you guys and to get feedback from you guys on how your homeschooling is going. You can also share below how your December went if you care to. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, thank you again. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next one.